Wow. Yo, what's up, Malaysia? Let's make some noise! Wow, you guys look sleepy, are you? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, my name is ALAA Bakkar. Can anyone say ALAA? ALAA. ALAA. Oh, you guys can say it. Well done. Well, I'm from Syria. And don't worry, I don't know your name yet, so I'm not going to ask each one of you about your name. Instead, I'll ask you a different question. Say yes if you'd like to know what the question is. Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, good boys. Well, the question is, I'd like to know, what is your favorite food? What is the best food that you really, really love to eat?
Cheese.
Pasta.
Cheese, pasta, what else? Cheese. Shawarma, wow, that's an hard food. What else?
Steak.
Steak, come on. You guys don't like to eat here?
Satay.
Satay, okay. What?
Kebab.
Nasi lemak.
Nasi lemak? Oh, wow, you guys really love to eat. Okay, would you like to know my favorite food is?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite food is pizza. I really love to eat pizza. Whether it comes with cheese, chicken, even if it's empty pizza, I'll eat it. So don't hesitate ever to invite me to share one with you. And by the way, I'd like to know if there is anyone in the house who would love to hear a story.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Alright. In 1991, I was born. And I found myself joining a two-wives family. So growing up, I had to live with the angry parents, especially my father. How many of you grown up with angry parents?
No.
Alright, so we share similarities. So I had a lot of issues with my father growing up because we always had misunderstanding and miscommunication. Not because I was a naughty boy, I wasn't yet at that time. But what happened is, he actually wants me to become the perfect boy that he always dreamed of. And I wasn't good enough for him. So growing up, I was really stubborn, and the only thing that I wanted to do is my things. Until I became selfish, and I started to hate myself, to hate my family, and to hate everyone else. So what happened is, after I finished my high school, my father came to me and said, "Hey son, would you like to go to Malaysia to continue your studies?" And during that time, to be honest, I had no plan what to do in my future. The only thing that I wanted to do is to have my freedom out of the way from my family. So when he came to me and suggested me this idea, I was like, yeah, sure, I would love to go to study. I just want to have my freedom. And I came here to Malaysia back in 2010. And when I came here, I had this thought that if I want to change myself, I have to change my location. Say yes if you ever believe in this idea. If you want to change who you are, you have to change your location. Thank you. So when I came here, I thought I would be the good boy that my father always dreamed of. And I swear to God, that's how I literally looked like. Okay, that's how I look like. I'm sorry, I didn't expect that this would be shown in TEDx one day. And when I came here, I started to dream to become the good boy that my father always dreamed of. So I started going and praying 5 times a day and doing all the good things that my father wanted me to do. And then I would go and call my father, "Hey Dad, today I did this and that." And he would go, "Come on, good job, keep it up, son." But that wasn't enough to make me strong to avoid the bad crowd. How many of you have bad friends? Good job. One day you'll become a TEDx speaker. So what happened is, I had to hang out with the bad crowd, and they told me a lot of bad things. And these bad things, because I had to be one of them, and I want them to accept me, to be a part of them, and until I become looking just like this. Because I wanted to be one of them. So I had to do this kind of hairstyle, and I had to start to do the bad things that they told me to do. Until one day, I got up from bed, and I told myself, I'm not like this. But the question was who I am, and I did not know. And ask yourself, what do you want in your life? We'll come to that later on. And 4 years later, I decided to go on volunteers with the NGOs, and one day I was scrolling down on the Facebook and I saw this food poster which is saying that we are actually cooking and selling food and doing fundraising to give the revenue to these refugee families in KL. So I love to eat, and I pick up the phone, I call them, and I give my order, and then I asked them about their idea, and I loved it. And I asked them if I can join them or not, and they said, yes, of course. And when the first time I went visiting one Iraqi family here in KL, I was so shocked. I was like blown away, like boom, something in my face. When I saw their family condition, they had like 9 family members with a single mother, and the type of food they had, and the place that they lived at, I was like, oh my God, I'm really having a great life. But I've never appreciated it. So what happened to me all this time? And then, the more families and families I go and meet, the more things that I realize about how great my life was. Even though I had an angry parents and so on, all of that. And 4 years later, I decided to have our own organization where we actually help everyone, regardless of their religion, their background, and their race. We help them here in KL. And what we do is we do a lot of different campaigns to these refugees. We try our best to do their help. And what we did is, when we started, we had no team, no project plan, nothing at all. But the only thing that we had is passion. And 3 years later, we finally made it up to come out to show you this kind of video. Please play. Oh. You missed one slide. So go back to this slide where I have found out that I'm copying a default system that I've been implementing in everything in every different area of my life, whether it comes with a relationship, with work, with school, and everything else in my life. That I call this cycle is the pleasing cycle. That you implemented this one even with your friends. That every time you see a group of people, you try your best to push hard in the way you talk, in the way you walk, in your hairstyle, everything you do in your life. So you try your best to push hard. And then when people look at you like you're overacting too much, they will actually run away from you. And then you will lose your friends. And when you lose your friends, you will become lonely. And when you become lonely, you will eventually feel depressed. And you repeat. So to break this cycle, I had to do this kind of job, which is actually first to help myself to know who I am, and then go and help other people. And I thought we showed a video. I'm now done with my speech, but I'm not leaving the space yet, because it's not about, the speech here is not about actually talking about me, it's actually talking about you guys. I managed to get my own thing, I got my own message, I'm now working with myself and so on, but now it's time to talk about you. I want you to pay more attention, and then I want you to imagine that you actually sitting inside this airplane alone by yourself. And you've been told that you will be flying from KL to Dubai. And after the airplane took off, in the middle of your way going to Dubai, you've heard the announcement saying your destination has been changed. What would be the first question that comes to your mind? Where is it?
Where is my destination?
Yes, where are you going to? So that's a question that I would like to ask you today. Where are you going in your life? Are you flying to Dubai? Or are you flying to KL? Or probably you're flying to nowhere. Now I know it's not easy to go and figure out what is your thing, but at least, again, you deserve that cup of coffee. You go and sit down and ask yourself what you want to do in your life. Because it is this kind of people, what they do is, when they ever be heard and be asked to do something new in their life, immediately they will follow this kind of cycle, which I call the fear cycle. Where actually, they will do no action because they are afraid from doing something they haven't experienced before. And when they have no action, they will have no experience. And when they have no experience, they will have no ability to try new things. And when you have no ability to try new things, you will have more fear to take action. While if you would like to change and probably choose the best choice for you, you probably can go with a different cycle where I call it the confidence cycle, where you actually can go with taking action, and when you take action, you will have more experience, and when you have more experience, you will have more ability to try new things, and once you have more ability to try new things, you will have more confidence to come over to this stage and share about your past and about your mistakes. Success doesn't require you to come from great background or to be rich. Success requires you to be successful and to have commitment and to have your passion. Because I want you to imagine this is your lifeline. And here where you were born, and here where you'll be dead. So imagine every time you take a step, opportunity comes in your way, and then you see there's a failure behind it, and then you skip it. And then you go to the next step. You see another failure with it, and then you skip it. And then once you die, you look back, you have done nothing. While you can't change your lifeline and make it just like this, the first opportunity comes in your way, you take it, you fail with it, you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your experience. And then you go to the second step, you fail with it, but also you learn from your mistakes. And when you go to the third step, probably you succeed. You fail again, who cares? But once you die, you look back, oh my God, I have done so amazing things. So which one do you want? It's all your choice. I just thought that you'll be interested to see this before I leave the stage. Thank you so much.